In one of the boldest decisions ever made by an African government, Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the state of Burkina Faso have officially taken over all French-owned TotalEnergies fuel stations operating inside the country. Every single one. Imagine waking up in a nation where every litre of fuel you buy, every business transaction you make, every created in your local community, no longer sends money to Paris, London, or Washington. Imagine a country finally breaking the chains of economic colonialism and reclaiming the wealth that rightfully belongs to its people. That nation is Burkina Faso. And right now, under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a revolution is unfolding, quietly, boldly, and unapologetically. Welcome to AfriFacts. Today we break down one of the most significant economic power shifts in modern African history. Brothers and sisters, when we talk about independence, most people picture flags, speeches, and national anthems. But true independence, economic independence, has always been the missing piece. And this week, Burkina Faso has taken a historic step, one that is shaking Western capitals, inspiring African youth, and redefining what sovereignty actually looks like in the 21st century. In one of the boldest decisions ever made by an African government, Captain Ibrahim Traoré and the state of Burkina Faso have officially taken over all French-owned TotalEnergies fuel stations operating inside the country. Every single one. But it doesn't stop there. The stations have now been renamed Baraka Energies, a powerful name representing blessing, prosperity, and good fortune in several Sahelian cultures. This is not just a business move. This is a statement, a declaration, a message to the world that Burkina Faso is done being economically drained, because for decades, profits from these stations flowed straight to France. Millions of dollars every year earned on African soil were repatriated to Paris, fueling another country's prosperity, while Burkina Faso struggled with poverty, unemployment, and insecurity. But now, every franc stays home. Every franc builds Burkina Faso, breaking the cycle of neocolonialism. To understand the weight of this decision, we need to look back. For years, TotalEnergies dominated the fuel sector in Burkina Faso. It was a monopoly wrapped in corporate branding. And while the logo was shiny and global, the reality on the ground was painful. Fuel prices set externally, profits exported abroad, local workers paid minimal wages, zero long-term reinvestment in local development. Traoré came to power in 2022, promising to crush corruption, end neocolonial influence, and restore dignity to the Burkinabe people. Since then, he has repeatedly stated that multinational companies exploiting African resources are the new face of colonialism. And with this takeover, he is proving that those words were not propaganda, they were a mission. Open quote, "We are eliminating them one by one," Traoré said, addressing journalists and critics. Close quote, the message is clear. Africa will no longer beg for ownership in its own home. Now here's the part most people outside Africa will never hear. The takeover wasn't financed by France. It wasn't funded by the IMF. It wasn't backed by any Western bank. It was fully driven by Burkinabe investors, particularly the Chorus Invest Group, working hand in hand with the state. This makes Burkina Faso the first African nation to fully reclaim the operations of a major Western energy corporation on its territory. Let that sink in, because this isn't just about fuel. This is about economic ideology. This is about power. This is about Africa rewriting the global script. The rise of the AES, Africa's new power bloc. This move is also tied to something much bigger, the rise of the Alliance of Sahel States. The AES, formed in 2023, is a union between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Their goal? Mutual protection. Economic integration, sovereignty without foreign strings attached. When Mali faced a massive fuel blockade recently, Burkina Faso stepped in, sending 200 fuel tankers escorted by heavily armed security units. Before that, Niger had already delivered 82 tankers during its own crisis. This is not ECOWAS. This is not the African Union. This is a new kind of alliance born out of survival, built on solidarity and grounded in resistance to neocolonial systems. And now, with this takeover of Baraka Energies, the AES is sending a new message. We can run our economies without you. Let's talk numbers. By reclaiming these stations, Burkina Faso will now retain millions in annual revenue that previously went straight to France. That money can now be used for infrastructure development, education and technical training, local job creation, healthcare improvement, national industrial projects. This is part of Traoré's broader economic plan, which also includes reopening a once-dead brewery to reduce beer imports, building local industries to stop foreign dependency, reforming the justice system so convicted thieves work on national construction projects instead of simply sitting in prison. Whether you agree with all his methods or not, one thing is certain: he is building a self-reliant nation from the ground up. Critics versus supporters. Of course, critics, mainly foreign analysts, argue this could scare away foreign investors. They claim that nationalizing foreign businesses will damage investor confidence. But supporters see it differently. They believe Burkina Faso was never truly benefiting from these multinational partnerships in the first place. They see this as a historic correction, an economic liberation that should have happened 60 years ago. France's influence in the Sahel has already collapsed, kicked out of Mali, kicked out of Niger, and now losing its largest energy footprint in Burkina Faso. Whether you support Traoré or criticize him, the truth remains. Africa is changing. The Sahel is rising and the old world order is cracking. So family, what does this mean for Africa? Is this the beginning of a new wave of African nations reclaiming their resources? Is this the end of multinational extraction? Is this the rebirth of economic sovereignty? Or is it a risky gamble that could backfire? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this move marks the dawn of true African economic independence? Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of AfriFacts, where we break down the stories shaping Africa's future. Stay informed, stay empowered, stay African.